Welcome everybody to today's sit down. Now, if you have opened any sort of social media platform in the last 2.5, 3 years, you have definitely seen the young man that's on the couch today. Not only have you seen him, but he's put a big smile on your face from year to year. The very talented, very educated, very humble Mr. Sed Pillay. Welcome.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for having me.
It's I've been checking your content out, and every time there's a new video, I have to watch it and consume it. Your angles, your ability to bring your beautiful fiance into the into the content, and man, it just hits. You are so good at what you do.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So I would just love to dive into, I know you're a very serious person as well. So you're an academic, actuary.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a background of, we spoke off camera, uncle that's a professor at Harvard.
Yes.
And, initially on watching you on the TikTok video, I wouldn't say, but having the pleasure to speak to you, you are so calm, you're so gentle, you're very tall. Like, you're very tall. That caught me, when I met you, that caught me off guard. I'm like, wow, you're so tall. I want to dive into your past. I want to dive into your story. And I'm going to start with my first question.
Absolutely.
2-3 years ago, you're 17. You walk in here, sit down. Tell me, what are you processing at 17? Who are you at high school? Are you making everybody laugh? Or are you the serious guy? I've got it figured out. This is what I'm going to do.
So I think when I was 17, that would be 12 years ago now. A lot of people don't know I'm almost pushing 30. And I was an academic, but also the funny guy. Okay. Which is a very strange place to be.
Yes.
The funny, smart guy, but I think I carried it well. And I just wanted to make people laugh in the class, but also had a very strong focus on the studies as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. And are you enjoying sport? Are you more focused on, this is my... So let me position the question this way. You are so well put together and you're so well-rounded. At 17, did you have it figured out? I'm going to study this, get a degree, and then I'm going to do comedy. Or were you still a 17-year-old?
No, I do tend to plan quite a bit in advance. I think coming from quite an academic household, I told you my parents are doctors. So we've always planned, we've done risk assessments on everything. So yes, I knew I wanted to study something in finance. So I worked towards that. I was doing 9 subjects in matric. Then I moved to
9.
Yes.
I could barely count to 9 in matric.
So
congrats.
I did that. Thank you very much. Did reasonably well in matric, and then I went to study at the University of Cape Town.
Wow.
I did 2 years of actuarial science, and then I switched over to finance just because I realized I didn't really love insurance that much. So I finished that, and then I did my master's in demography, which is population statistics. So that was at the Center for Actuarial Research at the University of Cape Town. Really because I love numbers, but I love people as well. And demography, you study demographics, whether it's race, whether it's population, whether it's age profiles. And then after that, I thought, let me branch off into consulting. And that's where I am today.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to dive into mom and dad, both doctors. Who was tough on you?
I would say my father.
He was tough on you.
Yeah, he was the disciplinarian in the house. My mother, I think it's because she's a pediatrician. So she specialized in kids. She was very softer, calmer, nurturing. Yeah, so he really, but we had a great dynamic in the household. He never really shouted or anything. He just he set the level of expectation at a very young age. And I think we carried it out, my sister and I. Yeah.
He's done a great job, and you've lived up to every expectation.
Thank you very much.
I've never met him, but sir, well done. And ma'am, congratulations.
No, thank you, Bobby. And it's weird for him now because some of his patients at his practice are like, oh my gosh, Sed Pillay is your son. And then he's like, what? What is going on here? Can I have a selfie with you, doc? And then he's like, okay, fine.
And he's all serious.
Yeah, he didn't want that 2 years ago, but now
he embraces it. He's proud.
Yeah, and I've included him in a lot of my content as well. So it's not him per se, but his persona. Yeah.
Okay, great. I've seen that.
Yeah.
So how does it happen for you? Do you one day pick up the phone and say, okay, let me just make a piece of content and see if it gets attention.
Yeah.
You know, how did that snowball into the phenomenal following that you've built?
So I'm very thankful for the following, and I did not expect this to happen. You know, when you asked where I'd envisaged myself, it was probably just in corporate,
Yes.
in consulting, in finance, that sort of thing. I didn't really, even though I was funny and I love stand-up comedy and comedy in general, I never thought this would be my life now. But I think it was in the heart of lockdown, in COVID. My sister, my younger sister, Sed Pillay, so she's also on social media. She has about 100,000 followers on all platforms. And she downloaded TikTok, posted some videos, and I said, okay, I'm going to download it and measure her analytics because I'm obsessed with numbers. Then I decided to push a video out, and it did well, and then it just snowballed from there. Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Amazing. And, you know, was it a convincing to say to your fiance, listen, I think I mean, she's awesome. Off camera, she is dynamic, energy level is here.
Yep.
I mean, was it listen, let's do one together and see what happens? Or was it like, let me come jump on, I can add value? How did that work?
No, I think I pressured her for sure. She likes to be behind the camera.
Also a doctor, by the way.
Also
Medical
a doctor, yeah.
yes.
So I'm the only one who's not a doctor, really. So I couldn't impress my parents by becoming a doctor. So I'm going to marry one, basically.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough.
You've done well.
Exactly. Thank you. But yeah, no. I was sitting with her on the couch and I said, babe, let's just do a video together. And people really liked it. I think they liked our dynamic. We're very similar off camera than we are on camera as well.
Yes, you are.
It's very similar. We are just who we are. So I think people really took to that. They saw the authenticity. They liked the dynamic between us, like just the little bickering and squabbling and stuff. They enjoyed it. So, I mean, I'm so grateful. I think my biggest videos all include her in them.
Yes, that's right.
And yeah, we've just grown on from there.
How do you, I want to ask you one or two uncomfortable questions,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Please,
how
bring
do
it
you,
on.
You know, how do you deal with the dynamic of, you know, I'm going to move permanently into comedy now, you know, in your household?
It's an interesting topic.
Okay.
So it's an interesting topic. As it is, I am a manager at a financial services consultancy. But even we did a fun run 2 days ago, and my colleagues were like seeing other people come up to me.
Yes.
And they were not like, okay, we just know him as Sed, the consultant.
Yes.
But they are aware of my social media stuff. But it is becoming more of a question that I ask myself every day, like, could this become an actual profession for me now?
Yes.
I mean, the clients are getting us to do videos for them on TikToks, be it insurance companies, no car companies yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
But I think there definitely is a possibility for me to branch out into this full time in the not too distant future.
I wish, I mean, the moment that you speak about comedy, your face lights up, your eyes light up, and you are there.
Absolutely.
You're ready to roll.
And it is something to sit down your medical parents and say, you know what? You said just get a master's degree, which I did, and then you can do what you want. But I don't think they thought I would do this.
Yeah. By the way, here's the degree, and you know, come and check me out this weekend.
Yeah,
you know,
God Reef City.
God Reef City. You know, if you ask nicely, I've got 2 front row tickets, but you
Yeah,
have to ask nicely.
exactly. Yeah,
Amazing.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, I think my mother really pushed that when I was at school to do the creative stuff. So we used to play piano. I did French classes. Acted in a lot of plays. Acted in Grahamstown in the Edinburgh Arts Festival in Scotland.
Wow.
So I think all of that has culminated in where I am today.
Of course.
And I have a very supportive fiance, which I'm very thankful for, because she just wants me to pursue my dreams. As long as there is income coming in, and she's starting to see that now, that even comedy can pay the bills.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see where we are a year from now.
Beautiful. I want to ask a different question. So it takes a village to raise a man.
Yes.
You are very well rounded. Like, you can go and sit and hang out with anybody.
Thank you.
know, in any room. I can feel that from you. Whether it's boardroom, war room, it doesn't matter. You'll be comfortable. It takes a village to raise a man. Who are the 2 or 3 people that had a big impact on you, where, you know, at one or other stage in your life that course corrected you, that touched you, and then you said, okay, boom, this landed. We need to.
No, I think I'll have to go back to my parents.
Okay.
Definitely. They were the ones that always helped me through some really tough times, whether it was at university or whether it was at work. My fiance as well. And, she's, I always say she's the anchor to my aeroplane. Like it's not that she stops me from flying, but she always keeps me grounded.
Yes.
She always keeps me grounded. It's very important. And especially when you enter this sort of field, I come home and I still do the dishes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and then my sister, of course, she's been such an inspiration to me, also very supportive. And I think those four are my foundation.
Sister is older or younger?
Younger sister.
Younger
sister.
Okay. Also on social.
Also on social.
But
also has a
master's
degree. Yeah. Works in investment banking.
Of course she does.
She's also maybe considering this as a profession. Who knows?
So when the gifts were being handed out, you guys were like in the front row, like receiving all the gifts first. You got the looks, the height, the intelligence, everything.
No,
Congrats,
thank you. You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby.
So, landmines. I want to pose this question in a way that landmines maybe you can share, you're an interesting guest because you can share landmines in a corporate environment as well as landmines in, your passion, which is comedy.
Sure.
What are the sort of one or two things that we can remember the GPS coordinates to avoid? Because we're going to learn from the mistakes that you stepped on.
Yes.
That you can say, okay, in corporate, I made one or two, maybe not fatal decisions, but decisions that led to something that was ANA. And then in comedy, this is a landmine to look out for because you're going to have fans on both sides of the fence.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we'll start with the corporate. So after my master's degree, I was still not really sure where to jump. And I think I would urge my followers and whoever's watching this, just do your research into every firm that you could possibly join. Not that I joined a bad firm. It was a great firm at the beginning, but I think the fit just wasn't perfect for me. So I would really urge people, do your research on Glassdoor and make sure that you are getting out of the company what you envisage, right? Because even though I've worked in corporate Johannesburg for almost 5 years, I've worked at 4 different companies. So, and it's not that I'm a journeyman and trying to just chase the paycheck. I like exposure, but I also want something that fits perfect for me while I was doing the whole corporate hop.
On that note, we've got a cadetship program. So we take on young kids and we put them through a cadetship program, teach them how to be either sales or finance, then we branch them out. And it's a very intense, very quick 3-month project. And then you make it or don't make it. It's very tough. But the main thing that I see with young people is I want to get a job. Okay. So it's sort of like running, it's like riding the Dakar that you need to navigate, but with blinders on.
Yes.
Exactly on what you said. No research on the company, no research on the leader, no research on the vision, no research on where's this company actually going. As a young person, I want a job because the end goal is the paycheck, rather than what value am I going to get from the company to grow and use that to develop the paycheck, which is a
And I would urge, just to touch on that point, I'd urge people not to look at the paycheck as the end goal. If you're good at what you do, you will make money. The best teachers in the world, even though in South Africa we know they should be earning a lot more than they do, they don't make a lot. But the best teachers in South Africa are uploading their lessons onto YouTube. They're finding different revenue streams. So you will make money regardless.
Absolutely.
I think talent always makes money. It's just finding the right avenues. Yeah.
And also aligning with like you said, the monetary part. When I've got a thing that someone taught me that I use every day, and your capacity either pulls up or pulls down your income. So capacity meaning how much value can I add into this company? If it exceeds the income, eventually the income grows. Sometimes the income exceeds the capacity. That person will find a way to bring the income down.
Absolutely.
Either come late to work or start drinking or whatever the case might be.
Exactly that. And then to touch on the second landmine, from a social media perspective.
Yes, please. Oh,
I haven't had too many missteps, luckily, because I have such a great navigator and my fiance just to say like, okay, just maybe change it up a bit. I think I got a little bit of hate at the beginning of my social media career. They were almost saying like, oh, these parodies are getting boring, or this white versus Indian dads is getting boring. And if I listened to them
those are the best, man.
While I was at 1,000 followers, I wouldn't have a combined 280,000 followers today.
Yes.
So I just tell people, if you're especially trying to branch off into the creative, always remember, a lot of the hate that you get online is unwarranted.
Yes.
People wouldn't really say that to your face. They're happy to say it online because it's anonymous and you're very distant. But just remember that a lot of the hate you get is also just insecurity and jealousy on their part manifesting.
Yes.
And you don't know what their background is. You don't know what trauma they've experienced during their lives. So just be reasonable, ignore it. If it's constructive, then take it on. Take it on. There is constructive criticism to be had. But just remember, not all hate is warranted, and don't take it too personally.
Yeah, great advice. And the moment that you put yourself out there, for example, last week we released a piece of content that over 4 platforms received probably very close to 7-8 million views.
Wow.
On one short topic.
That's incredible.
And it's very well researched, it's factual, it's backed up by real data. And then you will have the 10% that just, man, when I read those comments, they just destroy you. But then 1 or 2 will say, I think you guys ought to try this, and the third thing, and that we can use to improve the next one. But the moment you put yourself out there, there's going to be a hater.
Absolutely. And it's a sad fact of life, but the more views you get, you'll kind of also get a little bit more negativity.
Yeah.
But that's just the fact of life. If you have a video of a child recovering from a very serious illness, that's an amazing thing.
Yes.
You'll always get 1 downvote.
Yes.
You'll always get 1 downvote. There's always some person who's living in some basement somewhere who doesn't like to see people succeed or creative content. So don't take it personally. It's just, you can't make everyone happy. Focus on the people that you are making happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And add more value into that. Love it. I absolutely love it. So, best advice that you've ever received? That you sometimes it lands like snow.
Yes.
Sometimes it hits you like a train. Poof.
It's actually a few weeks ago I received
Nice.
this advice. I met up with Jason Goliath, one of the best comedians in South Africa.
Love him.
Absolute legend. I met him on a plane, funny enough. For the first time ever, he sits next to me and then I sit next to him. It was very strange. And he's like, I follow you, you're very funny. Then I'm like, I follow you, you're Jason Goliath. And then my fiance is sitting next to me, she's like, take his number.
Of course.
And it was so funny. He just offered it to me without hearing us or anything at the end. So I messaged him and we reached out, and now we have a really good relationship. We met up for coffee the other day, or for lunch actually. And I asked him about navigating this imposter syndrome that I have now, because like I told you, I still consider myself the man on the street. I try to be a nice guy.
You're a very nice guy.
I pay my taxes, I work hard, I earn an honest living, I'm a manager at a consultancy. So fighting this imposter syndrome is really tough for me. It's still strange when people come up to me in public and ask for pictures or what have you. And I asked him, like, how do you fight that? How do you fight that, Jason? It's been a very fast rise for me. 3 years ago, I was just going to climb the corporate ladder.
Yes.
Now, 3 years later, I have this following.
Yes.
This really great following of people of all walks of life. How do you navigate that? And then he said, I'm earning money by posting funny videos online. And yet some people out there are like doing these manual intensive jobs, and I find it a bit unfair. How do you fight that? Then he said, well, I was driving one day and I saw these guys digging trenches on the side. And he asked himself the same question. He said, isn't it unfair? Why is this happening? I'm earning so much money. This guy, he'll be lucky to see 15,000 Rand in 3 months.
Yes.
And then he asked his friend, like, how is this fair? His friend just told him, it's not fair, but the difference is you can dig a ditch. And that really hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, wow. And then he said, so be thankful for where you are, stay grounded, stay humble, but just remember, you have a talent that a lot of people don't have, and make the most of it and use it in a positive way.
100%. Love the advice. I think it just landed with me now.
Yeah.
You can dig a ditch, and everybody's talented in different ways, and everybody's journey is different, and and it's been a combination of, you know, all the events that you've done when you were younger, acting on stage, as well as your academic background to bring that seriousness. But so comedy, I believe, is you have to be witty. EQ must be very high.
Absolutely.
And you need to be extremely smart to land it at the right time.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, and you can also dig a ditch.
Yes, right?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Exactly.
If you could spend a day with someone, who's the someone, and then what are you processing with that person?
There's a lot of people I want to spend time with. So besides friends and family and stuff,
give us 2 or 3.
I mean, from my heroes from a South African standpoint, one would be Trevor Noah, just because, yes, he didn't start in corporate and branch off into comedy. He's been doing comedy for a while, but just to follow his thought process of how he got to where he is, the connections he made.
He's so good at it.
Exactly. And I mean, to host a daily show for so many years, so successfully, that is incredible.
Yeah.
So I would love to possibly meet him one day. I think I'm starting to actually have some mutual connections with him.
Beautiful.
So maybe, you know, the universe will work its way out there. Another person I really admire is A.B. de Villiers.
Okay.
He is an absolute icon of mine and my fiance. I was lucky enough to meet him once, actually, at a book signing in Cape Town. And I know my fiance loves him. Domini loves him so much. I got him to say happy birthday, Domini, on a book. I gave it to her. She was angry at me. Why was she angry at me? Because I got to meet A.B. de Villiers.
Of course she was.
Yeah. And I think the last person would probably be Ed Sheeran as well. Some
Sheeran.
people call me Sed Sheeran sometimes because I sing so much. And
Okay.
I remember we went to his concert in Joburg, and my fiance said she went to see Ed Sheeran, and but she ended up seeing Sed Sheeran because I was singing over. So yeah, I love him. I love his music so much, and I'd probably love to meet him as well someday, just to understand his creative process and how he comes up with things. Maybe collaborate with him one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ed and Sed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Live at Monte Casino.
At Monte Casino.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, I want to see if you're such a nice guy, man. There must be a dark side. I want to see if it comes out
All right.
on this question.
Sure.
Because so far, I'm looking for it. It's not there. It's just light and positive and energy and just good.
Thank you very much.
If you could be a fly on the wall and overhear a conversation that
Yes.
you're not allowed to overhear.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you're not allowed to be there, but now you are there.
Yes.
Who's in the room and what is being discussed?
Oh, man. There's quite a few.
Let's go.
I like a lot of controversial topics. So perhaps I would be a fly in the world at like the World Economic Forum, where you have like the biggest leaders in all the world.
The 9 families.
Basically deciding on the fate of the world and where we're going. I would love to be a fly in the wall there and just see like, what is our plan for humanity and society and where we're going and who's involved? I would really like that.
I want to pick your brain. We did a topic. Sorry, this is a unprepared question.
No,
we did a topic about a week or 2 ago regarding 5 confirmed cases of people actually being cured from the HIV virus. Have you done any digging into it, or am I catching you off guard?
No, I've heard of that. I mean,
5 confirmed.
As someone with a master's in demography, we did a lot of epidemiology work.
Okay.
So there were like whispers and murmurings of it while I was at university. So I am really interested in that. I mean, just figuring out how the epidemic started and how people are finally starting to maybe take a turn, if it's with the vaccinations or doing something with the genetic code. Like, I'm interested in that, but I can't say I'm an expert in it.
So they, according to what we researched, they do spinal fluid work around that generates the chemical that fights off the disease. But on the other side, South Africa, we spend 32 billion rand on ARVs, and worldwide it's almost $400 billion.
Yes.
On antiretrovirals. Now, World Forum, where are we going with humanity? Are we trying to control population? Are we making money out of this, where I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Exactly. I think you and I would align on a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
I've got a
thought
big
processes.
tinfoil hat. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
me
take
too.
it, I'll put it on, and then when
And it's
you will
tricky
see.
because sometimes you'll be struggling to sleep, so you go onto YouTube and then you just go down the rabbit hole.
Oh man, it gets very dark quickly down there. Yeah, but yeah, interesting. Loving our conversation.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. Okay, first car. What was your first car?
My first car was after my undergrad. I was very lucky enough for my father to buy me an Audi A3 S-Line.
A3 S-Line.
I
Fancy,
used to call her White Lightning.
Lightning.
She was incredible.
Nice.
Just driving to campus, driving on Main Road, driving all the way to Camps Bay. Like, I have such amazing memories of that car.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Came to a bit of a funny end in Joburg. I was driving my parents back from their hotel during Christmas and New Year's about 3 years ago. And a cat ran across the road. I tried to avoid the cat and I skid, smashed into a lamppost, which I reported to the police, but the lamppost is still bent to this day. So,
to this day.
yeah. It got fixed, right? It got fixed. And then again, it's with my parents. 3 months later, we went to a picnic in Muldersdrift. And as I'm leaving, I reverse and then my car stops working, the gearbox shreds, and then the rest is history. Now I don't have a car.
No, don't have a car.
Don't have a car. I Uber everywhere.
Let me ask you this question. What's your dream car? Like, what's the one car that you think, oh man, this is it. This is the one.
Growing up, it was I was a big petrol head,
Okay.
much like yourself. I was a huge petrol head. I used to buy a car magazine, Top Car magazine.
Speed and Sound.
I used to watch a lot of Top Gear, Speed and Sound. So the Ferrari 458 Italia, that was my dream.
Oof.
But now, I don't know. I think as I'm maturing in life, I think to be driven in a Mercedes Maybach S680, even the EQ one. I don't know how you feel about the electric vehicles.
I love electric vehicles.
Yeah,
I've had the opportunity to drive electric vehicles, and it's amazing. Electric hybrid. I think a lot of the pure guys are
Yes.
no.
Yeah, petrol heads. Yeah,
Okay. Drive one.
yeah.
Drive one,
Yeah.
and then you experience. I've driven quite a bit with the I-Pace, the Jaguar I-Pace.
My word,
that
that
thing
is a
is
stunning car.
quick,
Yeah,
so fast.
yeah.
Yes.
We were confused the other day. My fiance has a lovely car. She has a Mercedes GLA, and we were driving next to a BMW i3.
i3, yes.
I think it's the i3.
Fully electric.
Small car.
Yes.
Very small car.
Quick.
The way that thing beat us up a hill, I was confused. I was flummoxed. But I think they're doing some really good jobs with the electric. Have you driven a Tesla yet?
So I was in America last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So car guy, love Elon Musk. He's ours. He's from around the corner. So
yeah,
he's just here. He grew up just here. So like I've got two things. So went for a very, very nice business conference to meet a business person that I really admire and look up to. So that was first tick. The second one was visit a Tesla dealership and drive a Tesla. But I wanted to drive the Plate, the quick one, the 1,000 horsepower one. So I get to the dealership. I send videos to Vince. I'm like, I'm here. And I get inside. I'm like, I want to drive this bad boy. He said, sure. Give us your driver's license. I'm like, hey, I bought this one long ago here in South Africa. I'm joking, I didn't buy it. Got you. So I whip out my driver's license. I'm like, here you go. With the what's your name? Like Barbie?
Barbie.
Yeah. I'm like, let's roll. I want to drive this bad boy. Like, let's go. He says, no, unfortunately you can't. You can't drive test drive a Tesla or unless you have a North American driver's license. So I thought, okay, cool, no problem. I get into contact with Avis and arrange myself a rental car. But then I was there for like 4 days, and the place where I had to pick up the car is 60 k's away, and it just, for me, didn't work out yet. But one day soon.
What you said just reminded me of a meme I saw the other day. It was about looking for driving lessons. Already have my license.
That's a South African.
That's a South African proverb.
No, if you're watching this from wherever outside of South Africa, you won't understand.
Yeah, you won't understand.
My favorite South African proverb. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. He who grew up in a rondavel can never be caught in the corner.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
That is clever.
Okay, so you must have read thousands of books, hundreds of books, thousands of books. Any particular, maybe one or two, that jumps out and says, pick me, pick me? Why I'm going to ask you is because we also a different type of a car dealership. We've got a book of the month program. Everybody reads a book and has to do a report, a 1 or 2 pages.
Wow.
Some are bigger.
That's brilliant.
But we love books, so we always like to consume
Yes.
from people that we trust, like yourself.
Sure.
What is the 1 or 2 books that really pops up for you?
This is going to blow your mind.
Go for it.
I'm not much of a reader.
Not?
No. It's the craziest thing. A lot of people think, I got 96 for English in matric. I don't know what that says about the education system.
96.
But I'm not really a reader. I don't read that much. Growing up, my favorite book was The Atlas.
The Atlas.
The Atlas. Like all the countries, everything. I love general knowledge. I love general knowledge books. Reader's Digest did a fabulous book on like all the facts in the world. If you were talking about books specifically, I think 100 Companies and the Minds Behind Them. That was one of my favorites because I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm sure you do as well. And that kind of showed me the history of companies like Mattel and Nike and Adidas and all of these, because I consider myself an entrepreneurial spirit as well.
Yeah.
So that was the one that really stuck with me. So it's The Atlas, 100 Great Companies and the Minds Behind Them, and also Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari.
Man, I'm gonna get a lot of heat because you just said Sapiens.
Yes.
Vince has been trying to get me to read Sapiens the
Yeah.
last 2 months. Is it
Yeah.
that good?
I really enjoyed it.
He also
I
loves
really
it,
enjoyed
and I
it.
trust him as well.
It doesn't even really matter on which kind of, if you're very religious or atheist or whatever. It's a history of humanity, how we assume to have gotten to where we are. And I align with a lot of the thought processes there, and I really enjoyed the book.
Beautiful. On the countries, on the companies, sorry, you
Yeah.
said it's 100 companies?
100 great businesses and the minds behind them.
Okay.
Yes.
So another piece of content we shot last week. In 1995, the Forbes.
Yeah.
So Forbes has a list of 500.
Not the Fortune 500.
Fortune 500.
Yeah.
There we go. Fortune 500
Yeah.
in 1995. 20 years later, how many are still around? Take a guess.
I think I've seen this factoid. I'm going to say 20 years ago?
Yeah, 20 years ago. Top 500 companies. How many are still around?
100.
52.
I was going to say 50, man. Damn it.
52.
Yeah, should have
It's
gone with
amazing.
that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the world is changing at that pace, though. It's
100%.
crazy. I mean, I was
100%.
telling your team before I got here, 10 years ago, this job didn't exist. As
Yes.
a content creator.
Yes.
And what is that? What is Instagram? What is TikTok? And now here we are.
So on that, I'm writing my book report for our book, Richard Branson, and Screw It, Let's Do It.
Yes.
Beautiful book.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that really stuck with me. So, he made a lot of money in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
And for him to promote a product, he had to risk his life. Here's how he has to climb in a balloon. And, it's this big Virgin Mobile or Virgin Atlantic balloon. And we're going to cross the Atlantic Ocean. And there is the coverage from mainstream media.
Yes.
They come and they film it and put it on the news. That's how he gets attention.
Yes.
You don't need to do that today.
No, you don't. I think people just gravitate to whatever's on their phone now, on their For You page or their Instagram page. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the world has really changed a lot.
Beautiful. So tell me, what's next? What are you excited about? Where can your thousands of fans, expect to see more content coming up? Are you going to do any stage work? Tell us more.
Yes, absolutely. So besides the TikTok and Instagram, I'm still going to be posting a lot on there. I'm going to be working a lot on YouTube this year as well.
Okay.
Hopefully we can have some collaborations there
Of course
in
we
the future. I'm really going to build out the channel. I've got a cameraman. I've got a team behind me now. Besides that, I'm going to start putting my parodies on Spotify.
Okay.
So you can watch out for that later this year. I think
Nice.
a lot of people like the music, and I'm going to record it properly. because I actually can carry a tune. A lot of people don't know that. And besides that, I'm branching off into stand-up comedy as well this year. Really excited about that. I've got shows in Durban on the 29th of April and a show at Gold Reef City 1 week later, where it's myself and 4 other comedians. We're going to be putting on a great show together, and yeah.
You've just sold a bunch of tickets. I'm
I
going to be
hope so.
Absolutely, 100%.
So.
We'll come and support you.
Thank you very much.
It was such an amazing experience to meet you. You will definitely leave us better than you found us.
Likewise.
Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.